some good things happened, but we're a little bit late. It's already passed. What if we could have made Schindler's List in 1941 and that movie went out worldwide? You know what happened? The Holocaust would have shut down. People would not have let it happen. They would have stood up in the face of evil and conquered it. And so he said, we have a chance now, Tim, to make the Schindler's List of our day, to combat the Holocaust of our day. And his suggestion to me was that he was going to follow me and my team around the world and film it. Film the rescue of children. Film the arrest of wicked traffickers. And people will see it. They'll know it's real. And they won't be able to turn a blind eye anymore. And then they'll rise up. And they'll call their senators. And they'll call their congressmen. They'll ask for more legislation. Other groups like OUR will start popping up. Governments will do more. Most governments, when we created this organization, we're doing little to nothing. Little to nothing to rescue these. That's why we left. Because we go into these countries and say, what are you guys doing? How can we help? Well, we're not doing it. Kids are being sold all over. We don't know what to do. That will stop. That was Jerry Mullen's vision. And they got so much footage, in fact, that they're hoping to spin this off into a TV show. They already have a whole season because they continue to follow us around. But the first 3 operations got captured, put into a film. It's called The Abolitionists. And it's going to release nationally on May 16th. So one thing you can all do is get people to go to that movie. It opens in 600 theaters nationally on May 16th. The Megaplex Theater I know is showing it. And the Megaplex Theaters, and there's 17 of those theaters stretching from Idaho down to Arizona through Utah. And the Megaplex has committed 100% of their box office sales to Operation Underground Railroad. So, yeah. Thank you to the Miller family who made that decision for us to make that major contribution. So go see it if you don't see it anywhere else. Try to go see it in the Megaplex in Idaho Falls. We actually have a trailer that hasn't even hit the theaters yet. It's coming out, I think, this week in theaters, in these 600 theaters. Is that okay? Is that order? I have no notes. I just start talking. I'm sorry. So as we're setting this up, let me tell you, because of what they did, not only is this going to shine a light and convert people to the cause, but this, I worked as an undercover operator in the government for 12 years, for 10 years, before I did this, and I'd never seen such footage. Of course, we have to document the crime. We have to document the bad guys taking the kids, selling them, and so forth. So what this footage doubles as is evidence for us. And probably I'd say more than 80% of crimes against children, especially in developed nations, not so much here in the United States, but in developing nations, the prosecution falls apart because it requires the child to take the stand, and that's already a horrible thing to do to a child. But it's the only witness sometimes they have that this crime was committed. And then, of course, in a third world country where there's a culture of threatening and coercion and extortion, all that kind of thing, the families of the kids oftentimes get threatened, and they end up pulling the child out, and all of a sudden the story changes and there's no case. So most of the cases fall apart. We've been in 18 countries. We've rescued over 400 victims, and with close to 180 traffickers in jail. And not one child in our cases have had to take the stand because of Jerry Mullen and his team. When we leave that country, we turn over a hard drive, and the prosecution and the judges in the court, they're watching this whole case play out like a movie. From the day we meet the traffickers to the day they get arrested and everything in between, there's sometimes months in between there. Everything recorded. And they just look at this and it's case closed because they have it from like 15 different angles. They've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this, working in the government even. Because we don't have that many resources, even in first world responses like we're able to provide. So these guys, these film crews are saving kids, and they're so brave. When you watch the film, you'll notice sometimes you forget you're watching a documentary. You think it's maybe a real movie. In fact, we've been accused of falsifying footage because me and my guys are making deals with the traffickers, and the camera looks like it's right here, close-up shots, and it's because it is right here. Because these guys are so brave. These filmmakers they went undercover with us with minimal training. They didn't have time to fully train them. They're going undercover with us so they can wear hidden cameras and audio and video and make sure they get the shots that we then can use in the documentary and again use for evidence. You're close?